Today, we're making marinated chicken thighs, an extremely easy recipe that you could batch cook ahead, leave in the fridge, and you have wonderful chicken whenever you want for up to 5 days. So, very simple. First, we poach the chicken. Now, bring some water to a boil. Now, for poaching liquid, since we're only cooking this for 20 minutes, whatever flavor you give the liquid will just be a very insignificant surface treatment. So the only thing we're really adding here is just a few slices of ginger, because with them, even a short contact period tames any unwanted gaminess from the chicken. So they go in, and once we're boiling, the thighs go in. For this recipe, it's very important to use dark meat, so drum, thigh, or the whole leg, because they're way more forgiving in terms of cooking time. And in fact, they need at least 20 minutes for their connective tissue to break down into gelatin, giving you very juicy thighs. We're not even salting the chicken because we're going to make a very, very flavorsome marinade. So once this is back to a boil, we lower the heat to medium. We keep the heat at medium and we let it simmer for 20 minutes, during which we'll make our extremely flavorful marinade. Now, we cook as we go, so we heat up the saucepan. First up, we have a bit of ginger. This time you want to remove the skin. Everything that goes into the marinade will also be a part of the final dish, so we cut them accordingly. So small chunks, still chunky, because we factor in the power, the hot oil. So now our saucepan is hot, we add a bit of neutral oil, in this case vegetable oil, and ginger goes in. You see at Asian restaurants, they often pour hot oil over aromatic ingredients. Yes, it's beautiful and it works. But the reason they do it is because it makes service much faster. The objective of the exercise though is flavor extraction. So at home, if you don't want to smoke up your kitchen, medium-low heat, slow extraction works equally. So to that, we'll add a bit of shallot. This will give us some sweetness and complexity. Too much. And with the shallots, we just slice them. They'll become very tasty with the marination. Now, we're evaporating the water content to concentrate the flavors, and in particular, the sweetness of the shallot. And to that, we add some scallion white. Again, they'll become extremely tasty in their own rights. Now, a bit of garlic. The recipe is a guideline. Once you've done this once, throw in whatever aromatic vegetables you fancy. Again, not too fine because you don't want them to burn. Perfect. The garlic always goes in last because they burn the easiest. Now, once the garlic is fragrant, meaning you can smell that wonderful garlicky goodness, we add a bit of mirin. This is Japanese sweet wine. If you don't have access to mirin, just add some water and a bit of sugar, because sweetness is what this mainly provides. Please don't use white wine because that will bring acidity, which we do not want at this moment. So now we cook to reduce the mirin and evaporate the alcohol. Once you can no longer smell the alcohol, we add a generous amount of light soy sauce. This is the first time we're seasoning anything, so be generous. And a teaspoon of oyster sauce. This is optional, but this would bring a lot of umami, savouriness to the marinade and thicken it slightly. Once this is simmering again, stove off, and we add 2 more optional ingredients. First, toasted sesame oil. This is extremely overpowering, so I want you to see how little I'm adding. In this case, no more than 5 drops from a sesame oil bottle. And with the stove off, one last optional ingredient, which is my favorite, some coriander stalks. They bring so much complexity. If you like coriander, give it a try. If you don't, definitely skip this part. And we're adding them last because you want them to retain the power of this raw coriander goodness. Once you cook them, they develop a completely different flavor profile, which is wonderful, just not what we're going for this particular recipe. So stalks go in, a bit of accidental leave is okay. Mix. And this is ready to go once the chicken is cooked. I'll see you then. After 20 minutes at medium-high heat, our chicken is definitely cooked through and the connective tissue had time to break down into gelatin. So now, what we want to do is to put them in ice water. To immediately stop the cooking, but more importantly, to shock the skin and give it a nicer texture in the finished product. If you let this cool down naturally in its own liquid, the skin will almost lose all its bite. Now, we introduce our secret weapon for this dish. We have a Ziploc bag and we're gonna shred the chicken directly into this bag so you can have this wonderful chicken whenever you want. Grab some kitchen towel, just to avoid unnecessary dilution of flavors. Now, you simply follow the fibers and take them apart. Beautiful skin. Still has a wonderful bounce, you can see. And with thighs, it's so easy to follow the protein fibers. This way, they still have a decent bite when you bite into them. Perfect. Now, to this wonderful, wonderful bag. That's going to be my lunch for the coming week. We're simply going to add beautiful marinade we made earlier, which also had enough time to cool down. Try to remove as much unnecessary air as possible. And now we just shake it. Make sure everything is evenly coated. And this can now go into the fridge. When you're ready to eat, we're going to add 2 more ingredients to finish the dish. So, just to demonstrate, we have beautiful chicken. And you can make a huge bag and just take them out bit by bit over the week. And we have 2 optional ingredients. We have the dark vinegar and some chili oil. Now, there's a belief that when you leave something overnight in the fridge, they taste better. Well, maybe, maybe not. What I know for sure is what overnight rest does to acid and spice. It tames them. The chili will be less vibrant and spicy, the vinegar less acidic, but the vinegar would also negatively impact the chicken, making it slightly mushy. So these 2 ingredients, I would recommend that you always add just before serving. It's 1 extra step, but it makes a huge difference in terms of flavors. So, tiny bit of dark vinegar. This would brighten the dish, balance the strong soy sauce, and give it some brightness. Chili oil, again, optional. Now we give it a mix. Oh, smells incredible. Wow. Presentation's sake, skin back on top, a bit more coriander to garnish. And that's it. One of the easiest chicken dishes that you could prep ahead and have wonderful chicken whenever you want. This is marinated chicken thighs. I really, really hope you enjoy.